Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to be cracking the code on a single day's worth of football forecasts from a source called Goal. We're going to break down their pretty unique predictions, make sense of all the terminology they use, and see what the bigger picture looks like. So let's dive right in. So this is where it all starts, with this very simple welcome. This immediately sets the stage for us. It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025, and there's a whole bunch of matches to look at. This is our starting point, the raw forecast that we're about to pick apart. But, as soon as you look at these predictions, you kind of hit a brick wall of jargon. You see terms like one-up win and two-up win all over the place. And if you don't know what on earth those mean, the whole thing is basically useless. So our first job, and it's the most important one, is to decode this language. Here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll decode all that lingo. Then we'll see it in action with some youth international games. After that, we'll jump over to the domestic cups, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with a final scorecard for the day. All right, first up, let's decode the lingo. Seriously, getting a handle on these key terms is absolutely essential for understanding everything else that's coming up. So first, we've got this thing called a one-up win. Now here's the crazy part. The final score of the match doesn't actually matter. According to this source, the moment your team gets ahead by just one goal, that's it. The prediction is a success. It's all about grabbing that early advantage. And two-up win is the exact same idea, but you guessed it, the team needs a two-goal lead. So if your team goes up 2-0 or maybe 3-1, the prediction is immediately locked in as a win. It doesn't matter if the other team stages some incredible comeback to win 4-3, it's already done. The final piece of our little puzzle here is the term overs. Now, this prediction is tacked on to every single match. It has nothing to do with who wins. It's all about the total number of goals scored by both teams put together. So over 1.5 just means you need at least 2 goals in the game, while over 2.5 means you need 3 or more. So let's just put them right next to each other to make it super clear. A one-up win gets triggered by a 1-goal lead. A two-up win gets triggered by a 2-goal lead. That's it. It really is that simple. Now that we've got the language down, let's see how they actually use it. Okay, on to our second section, the youth internationals. It's time to apply what we just learned to the first batch of predictions from Goal. First up, we've got England's under-19s taking on Ukraine's. The prediction here is a 2-up win for England. That tells you there's a lot of confidence. Not just that England will win, but that they're expected to build up a really commanding lead. And when you pair that with over 2.5 goals, the forecast is basically painting a picture of a pretty one-sided, high-scoring game. Now, in the second match, Azerbaijan versus Iceland, you can see a much more cautious prediction. Here, it's a 1-up win for Iceland. That suggests, yeah, they're the favorites, but maybe not the overwhelming favorites that England were. And the goal count is lower, too, at over 1.5, which hints at a much tighter game where we should see at least 2 goals. Okay, let's move on to Section 3, the domestic cups. We're shifting away from the international stage and looking at some club competitions in England and Scotland. In the EFL Trophy, Brackley Town is getting the nod over Carlisle. And notice the prediction type here. It's that one-up win again, just like in the Iceland game. This kind of suggests they're expecting a home field advantage to play a role, but not necessarily a total blowout, and they expect at least 2 goals to hit the back of the net. Next up is Gateshead versus Altrincham, and look at that. We're right back to a high-confidence forecast that looks a lot like that England youth match. A 2-up win for the home team, Gateshead, and it's combined with over 2.5 goals. So the source seems to be expecting a dominant and probably pretty fun performance from them. Let's just pause on this number for a second. 2.5. We've now seen the over 2.5 goals prediction pop up in 3 of the 5 matches today. That's a really key insight into Goal's whole philosophy here. It's not just about picking who's going to win. There's a clear expectation for open, attacking football. They seem to consistently be predicting games that are going to be entertaining to watch. Our final match takes us up to the Scottish Cup for Dundee versus Hibernian. And this one's a bit of a curveball. The prediction isn't a 1-up or a 2-up win, it's a draw. This shows us the system can also spot teams that are really evenly matched. But what's super interesting is that even with no clear winner, the forecast still calls for an exciting game with over 2.5 goals. All right, we have analyzed every single match. Now it's time to pull it all together and take a look at the day's final scorecard. So here's the full lineup for the day. We've got two of those high-confidence two-up wins for the teams that are clearly favored. We have two of the more cautious one-up wins for the teams with maybe just a slight edge, and then we have that one single draw for that evenly matched cup game. And when we visualize the strategy for the day like this, a really clear pattern starts to show. You've got a perfect 40-40 split between those confident two-up picks and the more careful one-up predictions. It's a really balanced approach, with the draw being that 20% outlier. This gives us the clearest picture of goal's forecasting style for the day. So there you have it. We've decoded the language, we've mapped out the entire forecast, and we understand the logic behind every single pick. The only question left is the one that makes sports so great in the first place. The predictions are in, but how often does the beautiful game actually follow the script?